Hello and welcome back, CEDIA 2020. Thank you for joining us here at Modus VR. We are ready for our next demonstration. So for those of you who have been following along, this is going to be the third room in our series of demos for the day. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, this is all new to you. So what are we doing here at Modus VR? So we have a software suite that allows you to design and collaborate with your customers in real time using virtual reality as an amazing tool to experience rooms long before any money is spent doing construction or making bad decisions in terms of design. We allow you to go through with your customer, feel through some ideas, see if things work the way you expect them to. Size and scale is something that's always so difficult to grasp, especially just looking at flat paper and drawings. It's always nice to have an ability to really experience the space that you're planning, and VR is a great tool to do that. So we've developed a set of tools and software that help you work through these ideas with your customer in real time. So how do we do this? I'm going to show you, and we're going to show you how fast this happens. The room that we're about to build is actually small, I guess would be like a sort of a small office type of a space that features a golf simulator. So spare room in the home, something like that. So how do we get these rooms into Modus? Well, the first thing we need to do is create a space. So I'm here in our launcher software, and what we'll do is actually just click the little button here, and this is going to be Golf Sim Room. Call it number 1 because we've got a few of these to do today. And I can go in here and actually create a simple space if it's just a square room. This room I know is not a square room, so I can actually go in here and say it's going to be complex. And this is actually a new feature for Modus, the ability for us to use a reference image and draw on top of something that we already have on hand. So let's just imagine, if for a moment, if we will, that our customer has brought us some floor plans of this room. And this is room number 3. So here's some floor plans that they've brought in. This came from, their architect, whatever have you. So we see a few items in the room already. So they've got some furniture planned out here and here. There's a couple steps, some doors. The big thing that we need to do in the launcher here is just draw the walls. So I'm going to real quickly, calibrate this image. So the first thing I need to do is find the longest known length, which in this particular room, in this particular drawing, is this 29-foot wall space here. So I'm just going to take this guy and trace right on top of it. And what this is going to do is it's going to scale the reference image as well as rotate it for me. So now that that's set, in theory this should just work. So I'll click out of here. I think our ceiling height, I know this because we have tried this before, the ceiling height needs to be 10 foot 1 inches. And I'm going to change my snapping real quick here to 1 inch. So you can also change between imperial and metric if that's important for our everybody else in the world other than our US customers. So here we go, we can actually go in here and start drawing out these walls. Now these don't need to be dead set onto the actual lines of the drawing. They just need to be close. And to do this, I'm actually just holding the control button, and you'll see the little plus turns green, and I can go in here, and once I've done that and completed it, this room is pretty close to being ready to go. At this point I can go in here and fine-tune my dimensions, and I'm actually gonna, this is probably be better if I made this a little bit darker so that you guys can probably see it better. So if I scroll in here, I can actually move these walls around freely in those 1 inch increments that I had set. And so we know that this interior dimension should be 20 feet 6 inches. So this wall is off right now. If I bring it to there, cool, that looks good. So it's snapping in there pretty good. The scaling worked perfectly. This wall is off. So another thing you can do is you can actually select a wall here. And I know that this needs to be 5 feet 6 inches. And do that, and it'll automatically move that as well. Alright, so get these in the right places. And so once this is all set up, 22.6, that looks good. 29.5, where are we off? Right there. Excuse me. Alright, so 29 feet, so that's off by 1 inch. And this is 3 feet. I think this one's off, yep, it's off by about 4 inches. So, alright. There. Cool. That is all looking pretty good, and everything's lining up nicely. So once this is done, this is all you do that's not happening in VR. So all of the design and build process happens from this point on in virtual reality. So I'm going to click Save here, and then I'm going to bring up our VR view. And I've got a couple friends here to help out from the team. Let's see if we can see these guys here. So we'll zoom over to the VR side of things. And so this is Ken and Scott. Can you guys give me a quick mic check over there?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey guys, how's it going?
This is Ken.
This is Scott in blue.
All right, are we good to go, Patrick?
Yeah, you guys can take it away. So if you want to go ahead and start building out the room, I'll try and follow you along.
Yeah, would you mind starting a timer for us?
Oh yeah, let's see how long this takes. We have some bets going on this internally.
Yeah.
So
like you mentioned, the bulk of the work is all done here in VR. And the reason for that is just simply because we're three-dimensional creatures. We're used to thinking and operating in a 3D world. And when you have tools that are purpose-built to take advantage of that, you can move much faster than you could in more traditional tools. So as you'll see, this room is going to come together really quickly. It's going to look nice. And that's a big goal of Modus, is just getting to good presentation-ready results as quickly as possible. We don't want our customers spending time messing with building rooms for too long, because that's time spent not installing.
Sure. Now, I'm watching you guys do this, Ken, and actually it looks like you've divided up some of the responsibility. It looks like it's kind of based on the sides of the room, but also maybe some of the elements you're adding. It looks like Scott's done some cabinetry and some lighting. You're putting in a little furniture. Now, we know there's a golf sim going in here. That's a pretty big element, so you're going to save that for last, I'd assume. But Scott's got an AV rack in the wall. Are these generic objects, or are they branded objects? How does that work?
It's a mixture of both. In a lot of cases, like for furniture, doors, lights, typically generic gets the point across, right? We're not super worried about that. But when it comes to AV products, most of the time they are name brand. We also still have some generic products available in cases where perhaps we haven't worked with that manufacturer yet. But yeah, it's a healthy mix.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to come and take a quick peek at this rack. This is a branded object, correct?
That's right. That is a Snap AV rack.
Awesome. And so we take all those dimensions and we scale them out, and we get them picture perfect, would you say?
Maybe even better than picture perfect.
There's no scratches on the front of this rack. I think that
yeah.
I think we missed the mark there.
But really, everything is. Our purpose is to make sure that everything is dimensionally accurate, because especially when it comes to things like seating or any other large product, a lot of times part of the design process is just figuring out what's going to fit and how well it's going to fit. And so because of that, we're accurate down to the millimeter in a lot of cases. So, and I think we're at the point now where I can toss in the golf sim, and this is going to be really big. This starts to show off why Modus can be so important to some of these sales. So here we go. This thing is just giant. And so for a lot of clients, the challenge is just trying to visualize, how is this going to fit into the room? How is this going to affect the flow of the room? So just as an example, one of the ideas that was on the table for this room early on was to have the golf sim oriented the other way. And on paper it fits. In fact, I'll go ahead and delete some of these things really quick and just move the golf sim over, just flip it around. And although this does technically fit, once you have the rest of the room around it, you can start educating the client on things like flow of the room, which they may not be equipped to visualize very well. And once you see the golf sim is here, someone walks in order to get to the kitchen area, they've got to cross right through the sim. And that's a problem.
It doesn't seem safe.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a pain. So I'm going to bring everything back right to where you are right now, Patrick. So you might want to fly over to this side of the room.
I'll come to you. And I think Scott's all done with his side of things. He hopped out here. So that build, even with that little overlap conversation, 3 minutes, 33 seconds was what we just took.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all.
And so really when we talk about Modus, we think about things in two steps. We have the build side and the presentation side. So what we just showed was the build side. Usually you don't have a second partner helping you out to make it go quite that fast. And also usually your clients aren't with you when that's happening, although they can. But then the presentation side is where you really have an opportunity to shine. And so if you're trying to think about where Modus might fit in terms of what you're doing already as an integrator, you can think about that moment when you slap down that big old proposal, that 50-page proposal, and instead think, okay, let's shift gears. So now you can start presenting in VR, plus we have a handful of other ways that you can present to your clients where VR may not be appropriate or make sense. But in an ideal case, you'd have the client in VR with you, and you're able to show them different things. You can also stream design sessions just like you're doing right now for CEDIA, so that your clients can watch this happen in real time. And that's when the presentation really starts to become this unique and powerful tool, because if you're a client watching this, you can ask questions, give feedback, and because Modus is so fast, you can reuse all that same functionality on the build side, on the presentation side, and you can quickly pull an audible, move stuff around, brainstorm different solutions, but you can also present. So for example, in this case with this golf sim, there's a few things that we want to be concerned with. And so just as an aside, every object that we add can have a great deal of intelligence. So in this case, for example, golf sims are, it's really important that nothing is within this hitting area. So for example, if we had a ceiling element here, we can have that automatically highlighted. And so anything that's within this hit area will be called out and warn you that, hey, look, you're going against the manufacturer's spec. And this type of logic happens with all sorts of objects in Modus, projectors, screens, you name it. But then also, if we're trying to pitch a golf sim to this client, we also want to show them all the other things. And so the client has the ability to move around, like going to this back seat, and we can show them, hey, look, this golf sim could also double as a theater. We can
nice.
Dim the lights, give a great presentation, show off a trailer for Top Gun Maverick. Maybe someday when the pandemic ends, we'll get to watch this, I hope. But really, it's all about educating the client, helping them know what they're going to get so that they can make decisions quickly and with confidence. Because there's anytime a client is waffling on their decisions, that's your time being eaten away, that's your margin being eaten away. And so Modus being so fast helps get you to yes, gets you that check, gets you to the install, and gets you done with fewer surprises and happier clients.
Nice. And so once we've done all the work here and done the presentation, what happens next, Ken?
Well, the very next thing we'll do is we'll start outputting some deliverables. And so, in cases where you can show VR, great. There's a lot of cases where you can't. And so, Patrick, we're going to hand it back to you so that you can show how we can generate some photos, some line drawings, and even give a sneak peek of our upcoming panoramic 360s.
Perfect. All right. I will jump over there and show these folks what's possible for the 2D deliverables, things you can take home, your client can bring with you. All right, so back to the launcher side of the software now. So I'll go ahead and just click in here and show you guys what we do with the deliverables. So let's just open up the room that's been saved by these guys that they just built out. So here we go. That's space number 3. I'm going to go ahead and we've got a few options here in the launcher once you have a finished space. So you can see there's a little picture, a little thumbnail of the room here. And what we can do is I've got a few options. So I can open it in VR, that's where we just were, so that's not important. I've got Modus Photo, which we'll get to in a moment, and then I can create the line drawings. And this is, most people equate the line drawings to like CAD export, that's what we used to call it. It's a little more than just CAD export now, and so we have the ability to come in and actually take this room, create some elevations, and mark them up with annotation. So one of the things that we like to go through is actually how do we add some more views. So automatically from the VR view, or from the VR session, we already get a floor and reflected ceiling plan. So take a quick look at those. If I wanted to add some additional views, I just click this Add View button here, and maybe we want to get one that is Golf Sim Elevation. Okay, so Ken is actually telling me that I am looking at the... I was going to say this cabinet looks like it's in the wrong place, so Scott actually saved this room as Ken was flipping things around. I'm going to reload this real quickly here and get the correct file. Just bear with me for one moment. Easy fix. I think. Okay, replace the files. There we go. All right, let's take a quick look at that again. So, how does this look? Nope, that's still backwards. Well, hang on just a sec, folks. Let me see if Ken can help me out. Hey, Ken, did you send that file up to me? Okay. Oh. And the file name is 3 still? Okay, that's why I'm opening. just delete these. It's okay. So just a file naming issue, no problem. 3. So typically when you're working on these types of projects, you're not working with 3 people from remote places and trying to coordinate. This is all done locally on your own machine, but because of the way we're doing the demo, a little bit of file sharing had to happen. Okay, so I'm going to replace the files, and let's try this again. So open it up, and there we go, much better. Okay, so as I was saying, you add some views, and so we're going to want to do the sim elevation, and I will grab that angle. And so as you can see, I snap these cameras, and there's actually a hotkey. It tells us over here in the tips and tricks, if I hold control, it will automatically snap to that view, that cut section of the wall. We did this to really increase the, or actually I guess decrease the speed in which it takes to create these renders. So renders and things like elevations oftentimes come from a CAD person, whether that be someone in your own company that you're using to draw up your CAD images, or using a third-party service or contractor. Generally speaking, the time it's going to take to get these deliverables is days, if not sometimes weeks. It really just depends on that person's schedule and availability. This, we're showing you the ability to just go right out of VR, hop into another piece of easy-to-use software, and quickly generate these views. So I'm going to grab this elevation of the golf sim, which is going to be here, and I'm also going to just grab, we'll do rear wall elevation, and something like that guy there. And so you see over here we get a little preview of each of these elevations or each of these views as well. So once I've got my views set, I can hit save here just to make sure and annotate. And now I can come in here, and so the reason I wanted to grab this back wall elevation was it actually shows the projector offset from the ceiling. So I can come in here and mark this up as well. So I can actually go in, and every object will snap to the guides that are set here and allow me to call these things out. So maybe we wanted to know how high off the ground the projector is as well. So I can call all that out just like so. So this is a really useful tool. Maybe you want to use this with your installation team as well. You want to take them and use these for install docs. So anything that you might need to know can be called out, and you can notate it like so. Alright, and we'll grab the dimensions of the sim from the front view. So 10 feet tall, and sound effects not included. 12'6". Okay, so there is the sim view. And maybe we also just want to call out the actual area of the sim, just because it's such a large object in the room, and we want to make sure that maybe like Ken was showing, the architect is thinking about possibly putting some ceiling detail, or heaven forbids we put a ceiling fan right above the golf sim. Probably wouldn't equate to the most usable golf sim experience. So just being able to call this stuff out before we actually do any pulling of wire, no construction has happened. We're doing all this pre-planning all in VR. So once we have our drawings all set, we can come in. I've added on all of our notes, so let's just actually call out that this is the golf sim play area as well. Add a note, golf. And it's 20 by 12, we'll call it 20 by 13. So there, just call that area out. Alright, so once we have all of our drawings finished and all of our annotation done, we click Generate Drawings. Can give the project a name. All of this information down here in the footer is all pre-populated based on our settings, but it can be changed. But I click Generate Drawings, and so what you'll see is this is going to actually export a PDF copy of all of our drawings into a nice formatted document. So all of the information here in the footer, the scale, the room name, the view of the room, so this is our floor plan, our reflected ceiling, the sim elevation, and the rear wall elevation. So all of these deliverables exported in a matter of minutes. I mean, if you don't have file issues, we would have been done 5 minutes ago. The nice thing about this, and we'll actually make these all available on the CEDIA page so you can go in and browse through them. This is quick. You can hand this off to a customer. So it's great. It's detailed. You have nice information and the important factors of the room. But what else do we want to give? Well, most people want more than just some drawings. So we also have the ability to go in and use what we call Modus Photo. And so Modus Photo is new as of June as well. And this is actually going to look very similar to the VR view that we had before. So I'm going to switch over to it. So this is a companion application to Modus VR, but you'll notice that in this room, immediately you can see the fidelity is increased a little bit by being able to change the lighting in the room. So I've got some settings here, so I can move up and down the shades, but you'll see that the lighting is actually tunable based on the type of light that it is. So I'll darken the room, and you'll see I have the lamp over there to the right. I can actually crank that lamp up, bring it down, so you can create some really nice final polished looking renders. And the nice thing about this is, again, if you're using a third-party service, or even if it's someone in your own company, the time it takes generally to get renders is so long from the conception to the actual final render. And here we've gone in less than 25 minutes from drawing the room, designing and implementing all the assets in the room, and now we're to the point where we're actually creating renders. So in 30 minutes a person can get these final results that are amazingly clean, high quality, professional looking deliverables. And so to take this, I'm just going to go ahead and get a nice angle here. I'm just going to hit enter, and you'll see down in the bottom left corner there's now a thumbnail of the image we just took. And maybe we wanted to show something like, oh yeah, you know what, we can also show movies in this room, so maybe we want to give this angle, get out of the couch there, with some different content. So I can fire up some different content here, and they want to use this room for watching some football as well. So not just golf sims or movies, but maybe they want to have a Super Bowl party. So we can get this image as well. I can fine-tune some of the camera settings so I can get a wider angle or a narrower angle on the room. We've got some settings for blurring out, doing some depth of field effects as well. And these are high-resolution images that we can capture as well. So I'm going to grab this one, hit the button, and from that point, there's one final feature, and this is the one that's the newest for this CEDIA, and we're pretty excited about this. This is going to be our 360 view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a position in this room, and I'm going to actually turn off the football image, so we have our golf sim back up. And what I do is if I pick a position in this room, and you'll see up in the top right corner there, I have a button that says Make 360. So if I look around this room, I can see everything there is to see. So the thing that we're offering now with this Make 360 is the ability to capture the 360 image and hand it off to your customer in a completely consumable format. So I've just hit the button there. So you saw it was a quick little animation that happened, and now this has been delivered to a web link. I can take that link and I could send it to my customer via instant message, email, text, whatever have you. But the great thing about this is they can consume it through their phone, through a tablet, through any device. It's not specific to virtual reality, but it gives them this fully immersive 360-degree view of their room. So we'll make that available. I think I'll be able to post it into chat, as well as giving a copy of it and the other deliverables to the CEDIA site so that you guys can take a look at that. So thanks for joining us for the demo. Stay tuned for the next one. We've got several of these different rooms. Each demo is going to be a different room, so if you wanted to see some different types of content, we've got some theater rooms coming up, media spaces, a few more conference rooms. So we're definitely not bound to just theater rooms or golf sims. We're really expanding the ability of Modus to work in any residential or commercial application. So again, I appreciate everybody stopping by. I know that it's a busy CEDIA and you've got lots of people to see, so we do appreciate you spending some time with us here at Modus VR. Thanks for stopping in, and check back in about 5 minutes for those deliverables. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care.